What if one of humanity's oldest legends, the lost city of Atlantis, wasn't a myth at all? What if it wasn't swallowed by the deep Atlantic Ocean, as so many have assumed for centuries, but instead buried beneath the sands of the Sahara Desert? This might sound like science fiction, but a growing body of geological, historical, and archaeological evidence points to a single astonishing location: the Eye of the Sahara, also known as the Richat Structure, in modern-day Mauritania. From space, the Richat Structure looks like a colossal eye staring back at Earth, nearly 50 kilometers, 30 miles, in diameter, with perfectly concentric rings of rock and sand. For decades, it was a mystery even to geologists. Initially thought to be an impact crater from a meteorite, that theory was abandoned when no evidence of shock metamorphism was found. Later, it was proposed to be a volcanic dome, but again, no volcanic material matched the structure's composition. Today, scientists classify it as a deeply eroded geologic dome, but even that explanation fails to account for its symmetry, scale, and uniqueness. There is simply no other formation like it anywhere on Earth. But what makes the Richat Structure truly extraordinary isn't just its appearance. It's how closely it aligns with the 2,400-year-old description of Atlantis given by the Greek philosopher Plato. In his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, Plato describes Atlantis as a powerful island nation located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, the ancient name for the Strait of Gibraltar. He writes that its capital city was meticulously engineered: 3 circular rings of water alternating with 2 rings of land, connected by canals, with a central island housing a temple to Poseidon. The city was built using black, red, and white stone quarried from the surrounding area. A rectangular plain, rich in agriculture, stretched for hundreds of miles around it. Most notably, the city had a southern opening that led directly to the sea, allowing ships to enter and exit. Now, look at the Richat Structure. Its concentric rings match Plato's layout almost exactly. There is a clear breach in the southern rim, not a random erosion, but a defined channel. The exposed rock layers include dark basalt, red jasper, and white limestone, creating the very color scheme Plato described. And surrounding it for hundreds of kilometers is one of the flattest, most expansive plains on the continent, consistent with the rectangular plain of Atlantis. Coincidence? Perhaps. But the parallels don't stop there. Historical records add another layer of intrigue. The Roman geographer Pomponius Mela, writing in the 1st century CE, created one of the earliest known world maps. On it, he labeled northwestern Africa, precisely where the Richat Structure is located, as Atlantia, or the land of the Atlantes, a people said to live near the Atlas Mountains. And who was Atlas? According to Plato, Atlas was the first king of Atlantis, a son of the sea god Poseidon. The Atlas Mountains, which stretch across Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia, sit directly north of the Richat, just as Plato described great and lofty mountains to the north of Atlantis. This naming isn't random. It reflects an ancient cultural memory, one that may trace back to a real civilization lost to time. But what about the environment? How could a desert be the site of a maritime civilization? This is where modern climate science changes everything. We now know that the Sahara was not always a desert. Between 15,000 and 5,000 years ago, during what scientists call the African humid period, the Sahara was a lush green savanna, filled with lakes, rivers, grasslands, and diverse wildlife. Satellite imagery and sediment cores confirm the existence of mega-lake Chad, once larger than the Caspian Sea, and vast river systems that crisscrossed the continent. Critically, elephant fossils and rock art have been found throughout the region, including near the Richat Structure, proving these animals once roamed here. And Plato specifically mentions that Atlantis had numerous elephants, which they used in war and labor. Why would he include such a detail unless it was based on real observation? Even more compelling, historical documents from the 19th century, like the 1851 treatise on the resources of ancient Mauritania, describe the region as exceptionally rich in gold and ivory. In fact, long before the discovery of the Americas, Mauritania was Europe's primary source of gold. This aligns perfectly with Plato's claim that Atlantis was fabulously wealthy, with abundant natural resources. But the most definitive evidence comes from hard science inside the Richat itself. For years, skeptics dismissed the Atlantis theory because the Richat is dry and barren. How could an island city exist in the middle of a desert? They asked. But recent studies have overturned that assumption. Researchers have discovered fossilized mollusks,